What is up, car addicts? In this video I'm going to be giving a guide for this week's HSW time trial for next gen consoles only, and also the normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race, totaling over $550,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week during the event week period for the full payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the HSW time trial for this week, which is RON Alternates. Again, remember that you can only use an HSW upgraded vehicle for these time trials, and the best one is obviously the Hakachu Drag with the HSW upgrade, which is just ridiculously fast. However, I wanted to pick something a little different for some fun, so I chose the HSW Banshee. Now, in terms of route, you're going to want to take this shortcut here, which is very consistent and pretty simple for the most part. Now, it can get a bit tricky with the traffic, but in general, it's not too difficult of a time trial. Moving on to the normal time trial this week, which is Maze Bank Arena. I highly recommend either the Pariah, Italy GTO, or Divest 8 for this time trial. And obviously, if you're on next gen, I recommend using the HSW Hakachu Drag. Now, in terms of route, this one is pretty easy as you just follow the GPS route for the most part, and it's mainly top speed. The only difficult part is avoiding the traffic, which can get very annoying at times, especially in the Vinewood Hills area. Now, usually for these time trials, I challenge myself by picking either the Prize Ride Challenge car or the Casino Podium car of the corresponding event week. And for this week, we have the Turismo Classic as the Prize Ride car and the Tailgater S as the Casino Podium car. Now, the Turismo Classic would beat this time trial pretty easy, especially if it has the HSW upgrade. So I decided to challenge myself a bit and pick the Tailgater S, which honestly I thought wouldn't be able to complete it, but I gave it a shot and surprisingly it did. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Power Station. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this one is pretty tricky if you've never done it before due to all the tight areas. Make sure to use your brakes a lot, and when you go off that main jump, make sure to let off the throttle to maintain the stability of your Bandito.
Bruh.
And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is 8-figure bonus. This one is restricted to the Sports Classics class. I highly recommend either the Turismo Classic, Cheetah Classic, Retinue Mark II, or the Rapid GT Classic for this race. And if you're on next gen, the only car I recommend for this race would be the Turismo Classic with the HSW upgrade. No other Sports Classics car even comes close to that one in terms of performance. It's just crazy fast. Now this race is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, and you have to be very careful with the way you take corners and the speed you're taking for them as well, especially if you're using that HSW Turismo. It can get pretty tricky and crazy with a bumpy track like this one. So I highly recommend practicing the regular version of this race first, doing at least 5 laps before going into the premium one, just so that you can familiarize yourself with the way the car feels on that particular track, because even I was having troubles with the HSW Turismo Classic. It's a very difficult car to control on this track. And that's it, guys. The HSW time trial is pretty easy if you use the HSW Hakushu drag. The normal time trial is pretty easy as well if you use a fast car. And the RC time trial is pretty tricky as well, but just take it slow and use your brakes a lot and you should be fine. And this week's premium race is definitely going to take some practice if you've never done it before. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $550,000 between the 4 this week, and setting yourself a goal to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.